Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to BJ, and I'll say also it's very special to be back. As I said, I've been on family leave for the past couple of months, and so it feels very good to be back in my spiritual home, and I welcome all of those who are coming for the first time and those who have been here many, many times. It's just good to be back and to be together. One of the things that I love the most, and that I think is one of the things that drew me to this community, is that there's a spiritual quest that we're on here to balance both tradition and innovation, which is happening in many places, but it's taken very seriously here. And it's not an easy task to do authentically, to be authentic to the self, to be authentic to tradition. What does it even mean to be authentic? We could have hours and hours of conversations about that. Yet this week's parasha, Parshat Naso, gives us insight into how we might begin to navigate this spiritual paradox, the one of trying to be traditional and innovative at the same time. The parsha includes a very long list of offerings that each tribe brought to God on different days. Each of the 12 tribes, they each brought an amount of offerings, each of them on different days, but each of them brought the exact same offerings. And so the question would be, why is it that they're listed out each time again and again? And the rabbis teach us that no word or even a symbol in the Torah lacks any meaning. And so what can we learn from the fact that we recount the tribe's gifts separately, repeating them, and it's a list of 35 items, 12 times in a row. So it is one of the longest parshiot that we have in the Torah. I think it is the longest one. And this is one of the reasons that we have this super long list. It ends up being, I think, over 70 psukim that are listed out. So it feels incredibly repetitive, and I might even say it might feel unnecessary to do that. But Midbar Rabbah, which is the Midrash, teaches that although each tribe brought identical offerings, each of them experienced the act differently. The Lubavitcher Rebbe, Menachem Mendel Schneerson, Zichronah Libracha, known simply as the Rebbe in the Chabad movement, he explains this, and he speaks about this idea and teaches that while we strive to live our lives through the same Torah, each of us has the same Torah, each of us gives it our own flavor. And that's what we get from this repetitive list, that even though it seems like we're saying the same things over and over again, the experience of each of the tribes and each individual who was doing it was different. His major example that the Rebbe gives is he uses prayer, which all of us can relate to in this moment in particular. While we say the same words, the words that our ancestors have said and have chanted for centuries, he asks, how is the individual to be satisfied with a common formula? Is monotony the price we must pay for perfection? Does creativity compromise the truth that we're trying to reach? And he says it's not so. That's exactly what these 72 repetitive psukim in our parsha come to teach us. An entire nation, including individuals of every conceivable character and of every type of trait or calling or work that they would do, they perform the exact same deed, the exact same offering, down to the smallest detail, and they still give it their unique personal meaning. Each of us brings the richness of our own creative soul to our service, whether it's through the prayer that we are going to sing and chant, the ritual or the tradition that we take on. These practices bring us together, but they do not erase what makes each of us unique. Shabbat itself becomes the living expression of this very idea. It gives us the opportunity to remember what each of us uniquely has to offer. We do this simply by slowing down, and we embody our tradition. We have the chance to re-examine and notice our own very distinct way of being, because we're just being on Shabbat. On Shabbat, we live within tradition through the words of prayer, which we pray a lot on Shabbat, through rituals like lighting candles or gathering around a table with friends and family, at an oneg, which we'll have after services tonight, or we have many community members who are on a retreat, so maybe through a retreat. But each week, we breathe something new into the traditions that we take on, the rituals we take on, and even the words that we're saying together. As we continue our tefillah this evening, we're going to turn to Lachadodi, which you'll find on page 23. And we can return to that same question with a deeper awareness. Perhaps the question of this Shabbat Naso is not only what traditions we inherit, but also what we ourselves bring to them. What is it that we want to bring? The words may be ancient, the rituals, they're familiar, but no one else can offer God, the community, or the world the exact gift that each of us can. And so on this Shabbat Naso, we continue to ask ourselves the question, what is my offering? What is it that I want to bring into my words? What is it that we want to bring into our tefillah this evening as we continue with the Charodi? Shabbat Shalom.